Welcome, dear listener. Welcome to this quiet space we're creating together. Tonight, we're going to journey through the gentle, snow-laden story of Santa Claus. Not the hurried, commercial version you might know from shopping malls and advertisements, but the older, quieter tale. The one that smells of pine and cinnamon, of wool and wood smoke, of ancient stones warmed by Mediterranean sun. But there's no rush to get there. No rush at all. Let yourself settle in, deeper into wherever you're lying. Feel the weight of your body, sinking down, supported completely. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do, no problem that needs solving right now. Just listen and let the story carry you softly, gently, towards sleep. Close your eyes, if you haven't already. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a moment. And let it out slowly, like a gentle sigh. Good. Do that one more. Time. Breathing in and out. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your jaw relax. Perfect. Our story begins not at the North Pole, but much, much further back in time. We're going to travel together, you and I, to the ancient world. To a place where the Mediterranean Sea sparkles under an endless blue sky, where white stone buildings climb hillsides, where the air smells of salt and olive trees and bread baking in clay ovens. The city is called Myra, in the region of Lycia, in what we now call Turkey. But this is long before modern borders, long before the world became the complicated place it is now. This is around the year 280 AD, in the time of the Roman Empire, when the world moved at the pace of walking, of sailing ships, of stories told around fires at night. Picture the city with me. Let your mind wander there. Narrow streets paved with smooth stones worn down by centuries of footsteps. Merchants selling spices from distant lands. Cinnamon from Ceylon, frankincense from Arabia, silk from the Far East. The sound of voices bargaining, laughing, calling out to friends. Children running between the market stalls, playing games that children have always played. And in this city, in a comfortable home near the harbor, a child is born. His name is Nicholas. Nicholas comes into the world in the way all babies do. Small, vulnerable, completely unaware of the journey ahead. His parents are wealthy, which in those days means they have enough to eat, a solid roof over their heads, warm clothes for winter, perhaps a servant or two to help with the household. They're good people, his parents, the kind who believe their fortune is a responsibility, not just a privilege. They raise Nicholas with love. They teach him to read, which not everyone could do in those times. They take him to church, where the stories of Jesus and his teachings about loving your neighbor, about caring for the poor, about the last being first and the first being last. These stories sink deep into his young heart like seeds planted in fertile soil. Imagine young Nicholas, maybe 7 or 8 years old, sitting in the cool darkness of a stone church. Sunlight streams through high windows, filled with dust motes that dance like tiny stars. The priest's voice echoes off the walls, telling a story about Jesus feeding 5,000 people with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Nicholas listens, transfixed, not by the miracle itself, but by the why of it. Jesus saw people who were hungry and he fed them. It was that simple, that profound. But life, as it always does, brings sorrow along with joy. When Nicholas is still young, the stories aren't clear on exactly when. Perhaps in his teenage years, his parents fall ill. A plague is sweeping through the coastal cities, as plagues did in the ancient world. There are no antibiotics, no hospitals, as we know them. Just herbs and prayers and hope, and sometimes hope isn't enough. Nicholas loses both his mother and father within days of each other. Can you imagine the grief? The sudden, shocking silence in a home that was once filled with warmth and conversation and laughter. He's young, too young to be alone in the world, but he's also wealthy now. He inherits everything his parents owned. Their house, their money, their business interests. He could do anything. He could travel. He could live a life of comfort and ease. No one would blame him. He's already suffered so much, but instead, Nicholas sits in the quiet of his empty house, and he thinks about those stories he learned as a child. About Jesus and the feeding of the multitudes. About loving your neighbor. About how we're supposed to care for each other, especially those who have less, who are struggling, who need help, and he makes a decision that will echo through the centuries. Nicholas decides that his wealth isn't really his at all. It's been entrusted to him, yes, but not for his own comfort. He sees it now as a tool, a resource, something to be used to ease suffering, to bring joy, to help those who need it most. But here's the important part, the detail that makes this story so beautiful. He decides to do it secretly, not for recognition, not for gratitude, not for statues or praise or people knowing his name. He'll give in the darkness, anonymously, so that the joy is pure, untainted by obligation or social debt. The recipients will know they've been helped, but they won't know by whom. And that anonymity, that selflessness, that becomes the very heart of the Santa Claus tradition we know today. Let me tell you about the first time he did this. The story that's been passed down through generations, worn smooth like a river stone, but still beautiful. There was a man in Myra, a man who had once been prosperous but had fallen on hard times. Bad investments, perhaps. A business that failed. The details are lost to history. What matters is that he had 3 daughters, and in those days, daughters needed dowries to marry. A dowry was money or property that a bride's family gave to the groom. Without it, a woman's options were terribly limited. She might never marry. She might fall into poverty, or worse, this father was desperate. He loved his daughters. He lay awake at night worrying about their futures, feeling the heavy weight of his failure to provide for them. And his daughters, they tried to be cheerful, tried to pretend they didn't notice the worried lines deepening on their father's face, but they felt it too. The uncertainty, the fear. One night, after everyone in Myra has gone to sleep, Nicholas leaves his house. He's wrapped in a dark cloak. He carries a small leather bag, heavy with gold coins. He moves through the empty streets like a shadow, like a breath of wind. The family's house is modest, showing signs of their reduced circumstances. But it's clean, well kept. Through the window, Nicholas can see stockings hung by the fireplace. To dry, just a normal detail of domestic life, the way people have always dried their clothes near the fire's warmth. He approaches quietly. The only sounds are his footsteps and, somewhere in the distance, a dog barking. The Mediterranean night is cool but not cold. Stars fill the sky, so many more than you can see now in our light-polluted world. The Milky Way stretches across the darkness like a river of light. Nicholas reaches the window. He takes the bag of gold from beneath his cloak. For a moment, he hesitates. Not because he's unsure, but because he's savoring the moment. The anticipation of their joy. The knowledge that tomorrow, this family's life will change. And then he tosses the bag through the window. Lands perfectly in one of the stockings hanging by the fire. The soft clink of coins settling into fabric. And then silence. Nicholas doesn't wait to see what happens. He turns and walks back into the night, his heart full, his purpose clear. Imagine the morning. The sun rising over the Mediterranean painting. The sky in shades of rose and gold. The family waking. One of the daughters comes to the fireplace to retrieve her stocking, expecting it to be dry, ready to wear. But it's heavy. Strangely heavy. She reaches inside and her hand closes around cold metal, coins, gold coins. Enough for a dowry. Enough to change everything. She gasps. Calls her father. Her sisters come running. They pour the coins out onto the table, hardly believing what they're seeing. They count and recount. It's real. It's actually real. The father weeps. He keeps saying, but who? Who would do this? He goes outside, looks up and down the street, but there's no one. No clue. Just a miracle, unexplained and perfect. Nicholas did this 2 more times. Once for each daughter, each time in darkness, each time secretly, each time tossing the bag of gold through the window, where it landed in a stocking drying by the fire. By the 3rd time, the father was determined to discover his mysterious benefactor. So he stayed awake, watching, waiting by the window. And when he saw the figure approaching in the darkness, he rushed outside and fell at Nicholas's feet. You, he said, tears streaming down his face. It was you all along. Nicholas helped the man to his feet, and he made him promise, not to tell anyone. Not while Nicholas was alive. The gift was what mattered, not the giver, and so the story stayed secret, or mostly secret, for years. But after Nicholas died, the father finally told the tale, and people marveled at it. At the kindness of it, at the selflessness, at the pure joy of anonymous giving. This is where it all began. With a young man who chose generosity over comfort, who chose secrecy over recognition, who understood that the truest gifts are the ones given with no expectation of anything in return, not at the North Pole, not with flying reindeer or elves, but here in an ancient city by the sea with a simple bag of gold and a pure heart. Nicholas went on to become a bishop. He wore red robes as bishops did. He became known for his love of children, for his protection of sailors and travelers, for his generosity to the poor. Many stories grew up around him, some probably true, some embellished over time, all of them pointing to the same truth. Here was a person who dedicated his life to others. He died on December 6th. In the year 343 AD, he was buried in Myra, and his tomb became a place of pilgrimage. People came from all over the Mediterranean to pray there, to ask for his intercession, to remember his example. And slowly, gradually, over centuries, his story began to spread and change and grow, like a seed becoming a tree. But that transformation, that journey from Nicholas to Santa Claus, that's a story that takes us across oceans and through centuries. And we'll follow that path together in just a little while. For now, just rest. Think about those ancient streets, that bag of gold landing in a stocking, the pure, perfect gift. Rest and breathe and let yourself drift. And as you drift, the story continues to unfold. Or perhaps you never left. Perhaps you've been floating in that peaceful space between waking and sleeping, and that's exactly where you should be. We left Nicholas in Myra, his story complete. His life lived with purpose and love. But stories, the good ones, they don't end when a person dies. They transform. They travel. They take on new shapes, like water poured from one vessel into another. Still the same essence, but wearing a different form. So let's follow this story now as it moves through time, through centuries. Let your mind drift with me and don't worry about holding on to every detail. Let the words wash over you like gentle waves. After Nicholas died, his feast day became December 6th. Every year on that day, people in Myra and throughout the Byzantine Empire would remember him. They'd tell the stories again. The 3 daughters and the bags of gold. The children he protected. The sailors he saved from storms. And as people told these stories, they added to them, embellished them the way stories naturally grow. Centuries pass. The world changes. The Roman Empire falls. Christianity spreads across Europe, carried by monks and missionaries who walk hundreds of miles, who cross mountains and rivers, who bring with them not just faith but stories. And one of the stories they bring is about Nicholas, the generous bishop from the East. In medieval Europe, the veneration of Saint Nicholas becomes especially strong in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Belgium. Children leave their shoes out on the evening of December 5th, Saint Nicholas Eve, hoping to find small gifts in the morning. Oranges, perhaps, nuts, a small toy carved from wood. Simple things, but magical to children who have so little. Picture a medieval village in the Netherlands. It's December, and snow blankets everything in silence. The houses are small, with thatched roofs heavy with snow. Smoke rises from chimneys, carrying the smell of peat fires and whatever meager dinner the family has managed to prepare. Inside one of these houses, 2 children, a brother and sister, maybe 6 and 8 years old, are polishing their wooden shoes until they shine. Well, as much as wooden shoes can shine. Their mother smiles at their earnestness. Their father whittles by the fire, making something, though the children don't know what. Do you think St. Nicholas will come? The younger one asks. If you've been good, the mother says, with that particular tone mothers have used forever. The one that's both loving and gently warning. I've been very good, the child insists. I helped feed the chickens every day. Even when it was cold, the older sister nods seriously. I've been good too. Mostly. They place their shoes by the hearth before bed, arranged just so perfectly positioned. And then they lie in their small bed, sharing warmth under a thick quilt, whispering to each other about what they might find in the morning. Their breath makes small clouds in the cold air of the sleeping loft. And in the night, while they sleep, their father places small gifts. In those shoes, an apple, some walnuts, a small wooden horse he's been carving in secret for weeks, sanded smooth so there are no splinters. He doesn't tell them it's from him. He lets them believe in the magic. In St. Nicholas, the gift giver, the protector of children, the saint who still watches over good boys and girls even from heaven. This is what parents have always done, isn't it? Create magic for their children. Preserve wonder. Give them something beautiful to believe in. The story keeps traveling. In different countries, it takes on different flavors, different details. In Germany, St. Nicholas begins to be accompanied by darker figures. Next, Ruprecht or Krampus, creatures who punish bad children while Nicholas rewards the good. The joy and the warning, traveling together. In England, there's a different tradition developing. Father Christmas, they call him. He's associated, not specifically with St. Nicholas, but with the general celebration of Christmas, with feasting and merriment. He wears robes of green or red, and he represents the spirit of good cheer, of generosity, of taking care of each other during the darkest part of the year. Because that's what these midwinter festivals have always been about, really. Long before Christianity, people celebrated the winter solstice. They brought evergreen branches into their homes to remember that life persists, even in darkness. They lit fires and candles to push back the night. They shared what food they had, because survival in winter meant taking care of each other. And underneath all of these traditions, you can feel something older still. The Norse god Odin, who rode through the winter sky on his 8-legged horse Sleipnir, leading the wild hunt. Children would leave their boots out filled with carrots or hay for Sleipnir, and Odin would reward their kindness with small gifts. 8 legs. 8 reindeer. The connections echo across time. These stories weave together like threads in a tapestry, each one adding color and texture. The Christian saint, the pagan god, the spirit of midwinter generosity, all of them carrying the same essential message. Darkness comes, cold comes, hardship comes, but we have each other. We can give. We can be kind. We can create light. Now we're going to cross an ocean. Can you feel it? The gentle rocking of a ship, the creak of wood, the smell of salt air. We're traveling with Dutch settlers to the New World, to New Amsterdam, which will one day become New York. The year is somewhere in the 1600s. The ship is crowded, uncomfortable. Families huddled together, bringing everything they own, everything they are, to a new land. And among the things they bring, besides their clothes and tools and seeds for planting, they bring their stories. Their traditions. They bring Sinterklaas. That's what they call him in Dutch. Sint-Nicolaas, shortened to Sinterklaas. On December 6th, even in this strange new world, they celebrate as they did in the old country. Children leave their shoes out. Parents tell the familiar stories. It's a comfort, a connection to home, to the past, to everything they've left behind. Decades pass. The Dutch colony becomes an English colony. New Amsterdam becomes New York. The languages mix and blend. And Sinterklaas on English tongues becomes something else. Santa Claus. Say it softly. Sinterklaas. Santa Claus. You can hear the connection, can't you? The way words transform as they travel across languages, smoothing out, reshaping, but still carrying their essential meaning. But Santa Claus is still just a minor tradition, still celebrated mainly by descendants of Dutch settlers. It will take something more to transform him into the figure we know today. In 1809, a writer named Washington Irving publishes a satirical history of New York. In it, he writes about the Dutch traditions, including Sinterklaas flying over rooftops, in a wagon, dropping gifts down chimneys. It's whimsical, playful, not meant to be taken seriously. But people read it, and something captures their imagination. Then, in 1823, something remarkable happens. A poem is published, anonymously at first. It's called A Visit from St. Nicholas, though most people know it as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. You probably know these lines. They've soaked into the culture, into our collective memory. But when this poem first appeared, it was revolutionary. It created, almost single-handedly, the modern image of Santa Claus. The poet, Clement Clark Moore, though there's some debate about authorship, describes St. Nicholas as a jolly old elf. He gives him a sleigh and reindeer, names them Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. He has St. Nicholas sliding down chimneys, filling stockings, leaving toys for children. And that image, that vision, it catches fire in the American imagination. Suddenly, everyone wants to know more about this Santa Claus. Who is he? Where does he live? How does he accomplish this impossible task? The answers come gradually from different sources. The North Pole is established as his home. Remote, magical, perfect for a figure who needs to exist outside the normal world. The elves come from various European folklore traditions, transformed into toy makers. The naughty and nice list, the checking it twice, the idea that Santa knows if you've been bad or good. These develop over time, a way to encourage children's good behavior, to give the story moral weight. In the 1860s, a cartoonist named Thomas Nast begins drawing Santa Claus for Harper's Weekly. His drawings, published over several decades, solidify the image. Santa is plump and bearded. He wears a red suit with white fur trim. He lives at the North Pole in a workshop filled with toys. He keeps lists. He reads letters from children. Nasts. Santa is joyful but also serious about his work. He's checking his list, judging who deserves rewards. He's watching children throughout the year. There's love there, but also accountability. The image continues to evolve. In the 1930s, Coca-Cola uses Santa Claus in its advertising, and some people believe the company invented the red suit, but that's not true. Santa was wearing red long before. What Coca-Cola did was standardize the image, spread it globally, make Santa Claus instantly recognizable everywhere. And something interesting happens. As America becomes more culturally dominant in the 20th century, the American version of Santa Claus begins to travel back across the ocean, influencing and sometimes replacing the older European traditions. Children in England start hanging stockings instead of shoes. Father Christmas merges with Santa Claus. The December 6th traditions start shifting toward December 25th. The story that began in Turkey, traveled through Europe, crossed the Atlantic, now circles back, transformed but still carrying that essential spark, the spirit of anonymous giving, the joy of surprising children, the magic of believing in something wonderful. But here's what's beautiful about all of this transformation, all of these changes and adaptations. At the heart of it, beneath all the reindeer and elves and North Pole workshops, beneath the red suit and the white beard and the ho-ho-ho, there's still Nicholas. Still that young man in ancient Myra who decided his wealth wasn't his own, who threw bags of gold through windows in the darkness, who gave without expecting recognition or gratitude. That's still there. In every parent who stays up late on Christmas Eve, assembling toys and arranging gifts. In every person who donates to a toy drive. In every act of anonymous kindness. In everyone who gives just for the joy of giving. The story shape-shifted. Across continents and centuries, dressed itself in different clothes, spoke different languages. But the heart of it remained the same. And maybe that's the real magic. Not flying reindeer or impossible logistics. Not the ability to visit every house in one night or to know whether every child has been naughty or nice. The real magic is that humans keep choosing to do this. Keep choosing to create wonder for children. Keep choosing generosity and kindness. And the preservation of something beautiful. We could stop. We could tell children, none of this is real. It's just your parents buying presents. And we'd be technically correct. But we don't. Generation after generation, we choose the story. We choose the magic. And in choosing the story, we make it real. Not factually real, but real in the way that matters. real in its effects, real in the joy it creates, real in the generosity it inspires. So Santa Claus does exist in a way. Not at the North Pole, but in the space between people. In the choosing to be kind. In the wanting to create joy. In every person who gives without needing to be thanked. He exists because we keep inviting him to exist. Because we need him. Because the world is better with this kind of magic in it. Rest now. Let these thoughts drift through your mind like snowflakes. The journey from Nicholas to Santa Claus. From ancient Turkey to the North Pole of imagination. From one person's choice to be generous to a global celebration of giving. It's a long journey. A beautiful journey. And there's still more to explore, but that can wait. That can drift into dreams. For now, just breathe. Just rest. Just let yourself float on the story like a boat on a gentle sea. And now, dear listener, we arrive at the place where the story lives most vividly in our imaginations. The place where all those centuries of storytelling have built something impossible and perfect. The North Pole, not the geographical North Pole, where there's only ice and darkness and the howling wind, but the North Pole of story. The North Pole that exists in that same space where dreams live, where childhood wonder resides, where magic is not just possible but natural. Let yourself drift there now. You don't need to travel. Just close your eyes if they're not already closed and let the image form gently in your mind. Like frost forming on a window pane. The sky here is like nothing you've ever seen. Deep purples and blues, almost black, but not quite. And dancing across that darkness, the aurora borealis, the northern lights. Curtains of green and blue and sometimes pink, rippling like silk in an invisible breeze. Like the earth itself is breathing color into the night sky. The stars here are impossibly bright. Millions of them. The Milky Way is a river of light stretching from one horizon to the other. You can see why ancient people believed the sky was a realm of magic. Here, at the top of the world, it's easy to believe it's still. The air is crisp, but not harsh. It smells clean, like peppermint and fresh snow. And something else, something warm underneath it all. Cinnamon, maybe, or vanilla. The smell of baking, carried on the wind from somewhere nearby. And there, nestled in this landscape of ice and starlight, is a village. Santa's village. Though calling it a village seems too ordinary, it's more like a dream that decided to become real. Or perhaps a collection of the coziest thoughts anyone has ever had, all gathered together in one place. The buildings are made of wood and stone, but they don't look built so much as grown. As if the ice and snow and northern lights conspired together to create the perfect place for this kind of magic to happen. Warm golden light glows from every window, and there are many windows. The light spills out onto the snow, making it sparkle, like it's been dusted with diamonds. Smoke curls from dozens of chimneys, and with it comes those smells again. Cocoa, fresh bread, cookies baking, peppermint. The wood smoke itself smells sweeter here, like it's made from cinnamon sticks and cedar. And if you listen, really listen, you can hear music. Not loud, not intrusive, but gentle. The sound of bells, soft and rhythmic. Humming, singing. The particular sound of people working together on something that matters, something they love. Let's move closer. Let's visit the workshop. It's the largest building with a steeply pitched roof to shed the snow. The door is painted red with a wreath of pine and holly. And when you step inside, imagine stepping inside. The warmth embraces you like a hug. The workshop is vast, but it doesn't feel cold or industrial. It feels alive. There are workbenches everywhere, each one with its own purpose, its own project. At one bench, wooden trains are being carved and sanded. At another, dolls are being given their faces, each one unique, each one painted with care. Over there, books are being carefully selected and wrapped. In that corner, someone is winding a music box, testing its song. The elves are here, of course, though they're not the tiny, servile creatures of some stories. They're skilled craftspeople, artisans, each one an expert in their particular craft. Some are tall, some are short, some are old with silver in their beards, some are young and learning their trade. They wear practical clothes, leather aprons, comfortable tunics, boots good for standing all day, and they're happy. You can see it in their faces, hear it in their conversations. This isn't drudgery. This is purpose. They're making toys, yes, but more than that, they're creating joy. They're crafting the physical embodiment of someone's wish, someone's hope. That's meaningful work. One elf is putting the final touches on a dollhouse. It's exquisite. Tiny furniture, little curtains in the windows, a miniature family of dolls ready to move in. She's adding the last detail, a tiny wreath on the front door when she pauses. She's thinking about the child who will receive this. A girl named Sophie, maybe. Or Emma. The elf doesn't know her name, but she knows this dollhouse is perfect. For someone. She can feel it. She smiles, places the tiny wreath, and sets the dollhouse with the other completed toys. Nearby, another elf is troubleshooting a robot that's meant to walk and talk. It keeps walking in circles. He adjusts something. Tries again. This time it walks straight. He grins. There you go. He murmurs to the toy. Someone's going to love you. And in his study, away from the productive chaos of the workshop, sits Santa himself. He's at a large wooden desk, worn smooth by centuries of use. Or perhaps just decades. Time moves strangely here. The desk is covered with letters, thousands of them. More arrive every day, delivered by means that don't quite make sense, but don't need to. This is a place where belief creates pathways, where hope finds a way. Santa reads each letter. Not just glances at it, but really reads it. Some are typed. Some are handwritten in careful, laborious print. Some are just drawings. Stick figures holding hands, houses with smoke coming from chimneys, crude but earnest attempts to communicate. A wish. Dear Santa, I would like a bicycle. A red one if possible. Love, Marcus. Dear Santa Claus. My mom says we can't afford much this year, but if you could bring something for my little sister, that would be nice. She likes stuffed animals. Thank you. Jamie. Dear Santa, I don't want any toys. Can you make my grandma better? She's sick. Love, Asha. This last one he holds for a long moment. His eyes, blue and kind and old and somehow young at the same time, show the weight of these impossible requests. The things he cannot fix, cannot change, cannot bring. He folds this letter carefully and places it in his pocket, close to his heart. He can't heal Aisha's grandmother, but he can make sure Aisha knows she's been heard, that her love for her grandmother matters. That kindness exists in the world even when it can't solve everything. He makes a note. A special gift for Aisha, and something for her grandmother too. Something small but meaningful. Mrs. Claus enters. With tea. She's often forgotten in the stories, which is a shame because she's essential. The calm at the center of everything. The one who remembers what Santa forgets, manages what he cannot, and loves with the same quiet, steady generosity that Nicholas showed all those centuries ago. She sets the tea down, looks at the stacks of letters and puts a gentle hand on Santa's shoulder. You can't save everyone, she says softly. It's not a criticism. It's a reminder, gentle and loving. I know, he says, but I can try to bring a little joy, a little magic. That's something. That's everything. She corrects him and kisses the top of his head. Outside in their stable, which is really more like a barn, comfortable and warm, with thick straw bedding and the sweet smell of hay, the reindeer are resting. Dasher and Dancer lie side by side, their breathing slow and steady. Prancer's at the water trough, drinking deeply. Vixen is nuzzling Cupid, a gesture of affection, of friendship. Comet and Blitzen are near the door, where they can see out into the winter night. Donner is sleeping, legs folded beneath him, looking. Peaceful. And Rudolph. Rudolph, who joined the team later, the misfit who became essential, stands a little apart. His red nose glows softly in the dim light. Not blazing, just a gentle luminescence, like a candle behind red glass. He's the youngest. And sometimes he still feels like an outsider, even though the others have accepted him completely. Even though Santa, chose him specifically because his difference was exactly what was needed. Dancer lifts her head and makes a soft sound, a call. Rudolph looks over. She's inviting him closer, into the warmth of the group. He walks over, settles, down beside her, and she rests her head against his neck. You belong here, the gesture says. You always did. Days pass in preparation. Toys are finished and loaded. Lists are checked and rechecked. The sleigh, a magnificent thing of dark wood and gleaming metal, impossibly large inside, though it doesn't look it from outside, is prepared. The harnesses are oiled and fitted. Everything is made ready. And then it's Christmas Eve. The world turns, and darkness begins to fall across different time zones like a blanket being pulled up slowly, gently, from east to west. In homes everywhere, children are being put to bed, some excited, some overtired, and cranky, some scared they won't be able to fall asleep, some already drowsy and peaceful. Parents are checking their own lists, hiding presents, setting out cookies and milk. They're participating in the magic, keeping it alive one more year. At the North Pole, Santa dresses in his red suit. Not because of advertising, though that myth persists, but because red is the color of warmth, of holly berries, of the bishop's robes that Nicholas wore so long ago. The suit is trimmed with white fur, and it's more comfortable than it looks. Made for a long night's work. Mrs. Claus helps him with his coat, smooths his collar, looks at him with eyes full of love and pride. Bring them joy, she says, as she does every year. I will, he promises, as he does every year. The reindeer are harnessed to the sleigh. They stamp and snort, excited. They love this night. The flying, the magic, the purpose of it all. Rudolph is at the front, his nose beginning to glow brighter now, bright enough to light the way through fog and storm and darkness. Santa climbs into the sleigh, takes up the reins. The northern lights dance overhead like they're celebrating too. And then that impossible moment, the leap into the sky. The reindeer run, and then they're not running on ground anymore, they're running on air, on belief, on the collective wish of millions of children that magic might be real. The sleigh rises higher and higher, until the workshop is a collection of warm lights below them, until they're among the stars. And they begin their journey. Time moves strangely this night. A moment can be an hour can be a moment. Santa visits homes all over the world, moving through time zones in a way that doesn't quite make logical sense but doesn't need to. This is magic, after all. Different rules apply. Down chimneys, or through locked doors, or simply materializing. The gifts where they need to be. He works quietly, carefully. He eats the cookies left out for him, every single one, because to ignore them would be rude. He reads the notes children have written. Sometimes he pauses just to watch a child sleep, down chimneys or through locked doors, or simply materializing the gifts where they need to be. He works quietly, carefully. He eats the cookies left out for him, every single one, because to ignore them would be rude. He reads the notes children have written. Sometimes he pauses just to watch a child sleep, peaceful and perfect. And he thinks about Nicholas, about those 3 daughters, about bags of gold landing in stockings. It all comes back to this, to bringing joy, to being the physical embodiment of generosity, to preserving wonder. In a house in Amsterdam, he leaves a bicycle. Red, as requested. In an apartment in Tokyo, he leaves a dollhouse with a tiny wreath on its door. In a small home in Ohio, he leaves stuffed animals for a little girl named Emma, and an extra special gift for her older brother Jamie, who asked for nothing for himself. In a house where a grandmother lies sleeping, sick but peaceful, he leaves a music box that plays a lullaby she sang to her granddaughter Asha when Asha was small. And for Asha, a journal, beautiful leather-bound, where she can write her thoughts, her hopes, her love for her grandmother. He can't heal everyone, but he can witness their love. He can honor it. House after house, country after country, time zone after time zone. The sleigh moves through the night sky, leaving joy in its wake like a trail of stardust. And finally, as dawn begins to break, in the east the sleigh turns north, toward home. The reindeer are tired but satisfied. Santa is tired but his heart is full. They've done it, another year. Another night of magic preserved. They land softly back at the North Pole. The elves are there to greet them, to help unhitch the reindeer, to put the sleigh away for another year. Mrs. Claus has hot cocoa waiting. The reindeer are fed and brushed and settled into their comfortable stable. And Santa, finally, can rest. He sits in his favorite chair by the fire. Mrs. Claus brings him his cocoa and sits beside him. They don't need to talk. They sit in comfortable silence, watching the fire, feeling the satisfaction of work well done. Outside, the northern lights continue their dance. The stars wheel overhead. The world turns dot, and in homes all over the globe, children are waking up, running to see what Santa brought. Their squeals of joy, their gasps of wonder, their pure delight. It echoes back somehow, across the distance, to this quiet room at the top of the world. And Santa smiles, because this is why. This moment, this joy dot, this is what Nicholas chose. All those centuries ago. Not fame or recognition or gratitude. Just this. The pure, simple happiness of giving. And you, dear listener, you're part of this too. Every time you give without expecting something in return. Every time you create joy for someone else. Every time you choose kindness over indifference, generosity over selfishness, wonder over cynicism, you keep the story alive. You are the story. So rest now. Rest deeply and peacefully. Let yourself drift into dreams where sleighs fly through starlit skies, where reindeer run on air, where a kind man in a red suit brings joy to the world. Let yourself believe, just for tonight, in magic, in goodness, in the beauty of a gift freely given. Sleep, dear one. Sleep in peace and warmth and safety. And know that somewhere, somehow, in the space between stories and reality, Santa Claus is real. As real as kindness, as real as love, as real as the choice to make the world a little better, a little brighter, a little more full of wonder. Sweet dreams. And Merry Christmas. you